All right, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning. I'm going to start sharing my screen, and I'm just going to start off by walking through the paper timesheet and then going through the electronic timesheet. So that's what we'll be doing today. I am recording this, so don't feel like you have to remember everything, and then I'll share that recording link later today once I have that information for you all. But I think for now, we'll just kind of get started, and if people join in, that's okay, because the entire training will be shared out later. So give me one moment. Okay, so hopefully you can all see my screen. I also just want to let you all know, so we have two groups of folks with us today. We have our Summer Vista program, which those members started on June 3rd, and then we have our full-time Vistas who started on June 10th. So I'm going to go through both of those timesheets because they are going to be different. But so the biggest thing for this paper timesheet is that you are going to put your name, and then do not worry about putting your ID number. But if you really want to, just put your social security number on there because you're not considered a student, so you don't have an ID number. So you'll put your employee name, and then do not change anything that's in the actual timetable. I know that's confusing, but how it works is that as a Vista member, you're receiving a daily allotment from your living allowance, which is about $33.73. And so you could change the times if you really wanted to, but what we really just need to be tracking is that you are actively serving for the day. And so when I say actively serving, it just means that you are a participant, you're in your term of service. And so that is why you'll see here the pay period that we're reporting for on this upcoming Monday is from June 2nd through June 15th. And so our Summer Vista members, you did not start service until June 3rd. So that's why on that first day of the pay period, you have a 0 because you can't receive like your daily living allotment from Vista for that day because you were not actively serving. However, it can be confusing because, like, let's say, you didn't actually work on Saturday or one of the other days of the week, but there's still a 1. That's okay. You're still considered an active participant in the program because, once again, Vista, is not considered to be like a typical Monday through Friday 8 to 5. And so you're committing to a year of service, you're actively serving, or you're committed to 10 weeks for Summer Vista, a year of service for our full-time Vistas, and that's, you get your daily allotment based on the active days that you are in the program itself, not just at your site. So do not touch, you don't need to touch the times that you're in and out. Definitely do not touch the hours here. So for Summer Vista members, you should have a 6 in this first week and then 7 in the second week for a total of 13 hours, okay? For our full-time Vistas who started on the 10th, so this Monday, this is what yours should look like. So again, put your employee name up here. Make sure that you don't change any of the information here. And I know that the one I sent out to you is wrong, so I'll send you an updated one. So it looks like this. But you should have 0 for week 1, and then for week 2, because you started on Monday, you should just have 6 days of service. And then, so once that's been completed, you'll print this off, you'll sign it and give the date for which you're signing it. And then you'll notice that here it says Justin Ellis signature. So this is for both the Summer Vista and full-time Vista. Your supervisor will not be signing this. It needs to come back to us. So you'll email it to me, and then I'll forward it along to Justin, who's our assistant director, and he's the one on our end of things through Iowa Western Community College's system who's actually going to approve this timesheet. Your supervisors are all going to submit like a attendance certification form to kind of sign off on the fact that, okay, yes, I, your supervisor on site, am saying that they were actively serving for these days. So you don't need to worry about that. We'll take care of kind of coordinating that. But if you want to, you can show this to your supervisor, but they do not need to sign it because that needs to come from our office, from Justin. So that's really all you need to do for this paper copy. Again, the first timesheet, so the one that's due the 17th on this upcoming Monday, is the only one you'll have to do for the paper version. All the other ones should be electronic. So, and then don't also like change like this number here because that's where it's coming from on the back end. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to put something in the chat or you can email me. But the biggest thing is that, you know, you don't need to change the hours. We're only trying to track the days that you're serving in the program, okay? So now I'm going to go over the electronic stuff, which I know has been a little confusing, and I apologize for that. So let me just share my next screen here for you all. Alrighty, so this is the instructions that I had sent out. I'll send you an updated copy because Iowa Western is not used to working with so many AmeriCorps members, and so I just kind of went through and updated based on what we've been doing. So what you're first going to need to do is log in to the system, which is called ROC or ROC. And so what you're going to do is go to this link, the passwordcentral.iwcc.edu, so that you can actually activate your account. So you're going to click on activate my account, change my IWCC password, and then you're going to complete the form that's there. And I'll go to that screen in just a minute. So for your username, all you're going to need to do, because you're not considered a student, is put the first letter of your first name and then your last name. So like, for example, mine, because my name is Monique Ellefson, is M. Ellefson. So no spaces or anything like that. It's just your first initial and your last name. You don't need to put an ID number because you're not technically a student. So that's your username. For your password, initially, it's IWCC with a capital I, and then the last 6 digits of your social security number. All of you have submitted your social security number. You worked with Joseph, who's just sitting behind me, to do that. So that should work, and then you'll just create a new password. These are the requirements, and I'll quick share what the actual screen looks like so you can do that. So you can just see. Will my internet catch up to me? So this is what that password central screen looks like. I'll zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. So the instructions are here. It says to put your last 3 digits of the ID number, but again, we are not considered students. We're AmeriCorps members, so you're just going to do the first part of that, and it should work. And then it does have here again what the current password is that you should be putting in. So you'll just type that in and then enter your new password. Definitely would recommend that you save that information because this is going to also be the same login that you use to access your tax form. So like your W-2, I know that's a ways away, next February, but just keep in mind that you should really save your password somewhere so that you continually have access to your information. All right, so now that we've kind of talked through that, I'm going to go through how to actually enter your electronic timesheets. So starting July 1, that's going to be when your first electronic timesheet is due. And again, timesheets are due every other week, so every other Monday. So make sure that you have that in your calendars. And then electronically, they are due by noon. So if you fail to submit your timesheets on time, that could mean that there's a delay in your living allowance for that upcoming pay period because we can't approve your timesheet without you first submitting it or your supervisor submitting like their own certification to us. So just make sure you're always on top of that. You can submit it like the Friday before or the Sunday before or whatever. You know, the only thing we would ask is that you don't submit it like the 2 weeks before, you know, just submit it a few days before. That's definitely okay and allowable. All right, so again, this is kind of going back to that instruction sheet that I had sent out. That's what I'm sharing on the screen now. So once you've changed your password, you're going to log into roc.iwcc.edu. ROC is what I'll kind of just call it. And so this list of instructions here is how you can access your employee profile, which is like your pay advices. So that's like your electronic pay stub. So it just kind of marks out, you know, during this time period, you earned this much went to taxes, yada, yada, yada. For the Vista program, state taxes are not taken out. So you should keep that in mind as you're kind of planning ahead, is that, you know, if you want to go back and change your W-4 with Iowa Western so that they take out like X amount every paycheck, you can do that, or else just make sure that you're planning ahead that you might have to pay some taxes come tax season next spring. So just keep that in mind. But this is where all of that will exist, and you'll have this in the instruction sheet. So this is the instructions for how to enter time in ROC. So you're going to log in again to roc.iwcc.edu. And then on the right-hand side, as you can kind of see here, there is the self-service menu, and you're going to click on employees and then click on time entry and approval. So it has some arrows and things to help you out, but this is what your home screen should look like when you're actually logged in to ROC. So you're going to click on time entry, which will pop up underneath time entry and approval. And then you're going to click under the box, choose only one. So sometimes, like especially if you're submitting on Sundays, like the day before your timesheet is actually due, there will be 2 pay periods on there. So always make sure you're selecting the correct pay period, just because if you submit the one for the week before, it'll just get rejected. So just make sure you're paying attention to the actual pay period and those dates, okay? You're gonna click one and then click submit. That's what this says. And then your time card will appear, okay? So this is what the actual time card electronic version looks like. And so what you're going to do is under hours worked, you're just going to submit a 1 for every day of that pay period. And so since this next timesheet, right, you're submitting electronically, so you will have been actively serving for the entire 2-week period. The only reason that you would not put a 1 in hours worked for that day is if you exited your term. So if you, for some reason or another, had to leave the program, you're no longer serving in Vista, that's the only reason you would put a 0. So if you took the day off, if you just didn't have, any responsibilities that day, something like that, you would still put a 1, okay? Even for like the upcoming federal holiday, the national holiday for July 4th, like you would still put a 1 because you're still considered to be an active participant, even if you don't have to report to your site for that day. So just keep those things in mind, but you should have a 1 in every day of that pay period for a total of 14 days, okay? So once you've entered that, you're going to click submit. And then this will come up with kind of a confirmation screen of how many hours. So then just kind of verify, okay, there's 14 days, that's accurate. And again, this is for the next pay period, so 14 will be accurate, okay? It's not like we had to do on the paper copy, okay? So then once you verify your hours, you're gonna hit go back. So you go back into your time card and then you're going to officially submit it. So here again is the go back button. This is where you're confirming the hours. And then once you go back, this is what your screen will look like. So really just pay attention to that you should only be existing in this first hours worked box. So this example shows hours under like annual leave, sick hours, other types of time off. You do not exist in those boxes. You only are going to enter information into hours worked, okay? For summer Vista members, you technically don't receive any leave benefits. For full-time Vista members, we track your leave in another format, okay? So you're just gonna verify that everything is correct, scroll to the bottom, and then you're going to select the box that says checking this box becomes your electronic signature, which is right here. And then, so once you've clicked that, you're gonna click submit, okay? And then this will also show you who's like your supervisor. So this is just an example from Iowa Western's like HR team, but your supervisor technically in our system through Iowa Western is Justin Ellis. So just like he's gonna be the one signing your paper timesheet, he's gonna be the one signing off on your electronic one, but only of course after we verify the information is correct with your site supervisor. So that's really the system. You'll know that it's been submitted because it'll tell you your time card has been submitted and it will no longer appear in your time entry list. So here it will no longer show up and it'll just have the time period, the pay period for the next upcoming pay period. I hope that makes sense. We can definitely open it up now to questions or concerns, but again, you won't really have access to an electronic pay period right now. So this is definitely something planning for the future, but this is being recorded, so I will share it out with everyone and resend out the updated information about your username and your password and stuff like that. But hopefully this has been helpful. Your first, here, let me stop sharing. So your first timesheet is due this upcoming Monday, June 17th. Since it's paper, we're asking that you submit it to us. So you email it to me by 10 a.m. So that way Justin can sign everything. We can get your approval from your supervisors via another format, and then we can send those in for you by the 12 o'clock deadline, okay? So 10 a.m. Monday morning, don't have your supervisor sign it, only have your signature and your information on there, and then Justin will sign it after you email it to me, okay? And then once that's been done, everything should be transitioned into the electronic version, which will be just due at noon. We can add that to your calendars if that would be helpful, but we'll always send out reminders too. So just make sure you're checking your email, and that, just to remember, you can submit it the Friday, the Thursday before, that's fine. It would just not make sense to submit it like 2 weeks early after you already submitted your next one. So just keep that all in mind, okay? I'm gonna stop recording so that way I can answer any questions, but also feel free to log off if you're feeling good. But yeah, I'll just kind of stay on for the next few minutes here.